It is the THG Intercontinental, can never say that word first time. Cup. Intercontinental Cup round 2. We are at Nurburgring GP. I believe we're at Nurburgring GP. Adam will correct me if we are not.
Yeah, it is GP.
We are on with Adam currently. I'm just adjust my volume settings, and I'm going to quickly change it so that we don't get copyright striked, because it doesn't like that. You have all your settings set up, and then it will just randomly change it. Very annoying.
Always very helpful.
Very helpful when it resets every time a lobby resets. So Adam, what's going on here? What are we going to be watching today?
Well, today is the second round of the Intercontinental Championship. The drivers have had approximately 2, possibly 3 weeks to prepare, and in all of that preparation time I've done about 15 laps, so that's how brilliantly prepared I am. Second round of the championship is a bit like the old THG Sunday Cup. However, I noticed a lot of our drivers couldn't race on Sundays, so I switched to Saturday nights. We race approximately once a month. I give drivers time to, tune up their cars. Tuning is allowed. You can fit turbos if you want. That won't be allowed every single round, so just check the regulations. Each round will be announced roughly 2 weeks before. I've got all the rounds already set up in my head and on Facebook, but they will be announced to the drivers separately, not all in one go. It's an old format that THG have used years ago, the Sunday Cup. So I feel I'd just take that. Also, other championships use similar format. This is the second round. THG C0 finished first in the first round. That was around Daytona with the Corvette Group 3 car. I should explain each round will be a different type of car. I tried to link the cars and the countries together, so like Corvette for America, Audi for Germany. I use a Japanese make for a Japanese round, etc., etc. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Every round's a little bit of a surprise. I guess you can argue I can cheat because I know what's coming up. All of my points, anything, I will be pulling over at the end, and I won't score any points because this is for drivers taking part, not the creator. I also feel that's more fair. That way I'm not getting in the way of somebody's championship, taking away points from one, not the other, etc. I didn't race the first round. I was away. Where was I? I was home, but I was in another championship, which unfortunately the date moved, and that knocked me out of the first round because I could never finish it in time.
And in terms of format tonight, so we're looking. Are we still looking? Because I believe at about 6:30 we were meant to be having a 10-minute quali, and it's 45 on lap tracks, not 45-minute sprint race.
Yep, 45 laps.
45 laps. Probably looking at the times, we're looking. Yeah, we're looking a little bit along there. I mean, often in these, people won't be going for it. It'll be qualifying that we'll start to see. What's going on in terms of time-wise. We're currently at the 150s. Manos hasn't gone for it there, but I don't think he wants to show his hand here. We all know that Manos is probably, so far from the names that I can see on track, I believe he's the fastest one on track at the moment. Then I haven't seen Manos race for quite a while. It's been a long time since I've been in a lobby or on track with him. Did you know he won the first ever race that I raced the THG in? It wasn't IndyCar style, but it was that kind of style where Isaac introduced me to the racing. in the old Diala 19s on GT6. And he won it. And you sent him a t-shirt.
Yeah, Isaac did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the 100 laps around Blue Moon Bay.
Blue Moon Bay, that was it. Yeah, good times, good times.
If I remember correctly. Not just the overall, it was the actual road course version of it. 100 laps, that was a fun race. It was quite a stressful race as well, because every little thing would make a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, it was stressful for me. It was my debut race. I'm racing against guys who are used to kind of that tight battling whilst making minimal mistakes, and I clipped the wall so many times just trying to get out of the way of people. I ended up sacrificing my race multiple times, but people were nice and only had to say sorry once.
I can remember having the issue where the pit stops were almost exactly the same as
a lap.
Times lapped. And now these guys behind me lapping me going, get out of the way, but I'm thinking I'm racing this other guy, I can't remember who it was. And if I slow down for a second, 2 seconds, suddenly he's out ahead of me, because that's how close it was. That was quite stressful, trying not to get in the way whilst trying to let these people through who are technically lapping me, because obviously a lap was basically a pit stop. So that was stressful. We are meant to be starting in 3 minutes time. I will just check the chat, so if there's anyone late who would like to race.
There's always one of them ones getting those last minute guys in just to see who's about. I would have attempted to race this other than the fact that I didn't have a lot of time in order to try and buy the car. I was 900,000 short, plus your tyres, so I had to run 1 half-an-hour race to get it. And it probably just wasn't worth it.
We'll just check. We are missing.
Check, because I was going to say, is Corey and Mr. Sticky not about?
Yeah, I mean, I know Netterback's good race.
In terms of this race, then, what are we expecting from a lap?
I was in practice. I was doing 48s. However, that seems to have dropped off. I blame the heat, but I haven't got my eye in, so I would be expecting low to mid 48 lap times.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking here at the high 49s. Yeah, definitely the high 49s, low 49s for Manos, but it's practice, not quali. I don't think anyone wants to show their hand. It normally is the way that people are 1 or 2 seconds off pace in these little paths. They're just getting a feel for the track temps and just double checking that it's the same as the practice. Giving us a little show for the stream, which is always nice, but they're not going to be pushing, they're not going to stress themselves out for, you know, been in this lobby 25 minutes, guys have been on track for about 15, so nobody's going to be pushing. You see that, you know, Zoe's just sat in, she's just in, ready to go, not in any rush to waste her energy. Some people, it is that last minute extra practice in some of them corners that you might not quite be 100% on. Just double checking that the fuel rate is exactly where you want it to be. Are you in a race like this, maybe not like this, but other races, would you say that you'd be making any last minute changes to gear ratio, maybe tweaking that ride height 1 or 2 clicks? Is that something that you tend to do, or at what point are you done with the tuning? At what point are you done with your prep and you're locked in now, whatever it is? What point in a race, any race, I mean, not just this one?
For me personally, today I was actually still testing when I was driving around because I'm so unprepared, because we've had some really bad weather in the UK, well, very hot weather, and it's just put me off being online because it's just horrible. So I've not done any testing. Today I was testing out things before the start. Normally though, I would have a setup completely set up before. I would use a few laps now just to get my eye in really, few practice laps, a few braking points, check what the wind's doing, because that can mess up your braking points, as I found out in previous races where I've accidentally killed people on the first and second laps because I braked at a certain point and then I found that the car will not slow down. So yeah, normally if I'm prepared I just get my eye in. However, today I was still checking turbos and things and ride height. I've changed my ride height since the start, so you'll probably see me spin around. That's always good. But it doesn't affect me too much, but you know, I want to give the guys a race. So just lay over. I mean, I will pull over at the end, but let's go racing.
And we talk about the hot weather here in the UK. It looks like it's quite nice in Germany today, from what we're seeing. I can't get any grand shots of the sky. We've checked radars. What's kind of, are you in? I mean, obviously you're racing yourself, so you might not want to give away your team strategy, but are you looking at maybe some potential, you know, unpleasant winds or anything like that? What's your radar saying for the 45 laps so far?
I can't look at the radar because I've got a new wheel and I can't actually move the where it is. However, I'm expecting some light rain to possibly rain towards the end of the race, by the weather forecast. So
and there are no safety cars in this race format. It is, everyone is gunning it for their own. If rain comes, get your wet wheels on, get your intermediates. Are there? I mean, just for the people watching, is it worth doing the old? There's going to be pit stops in this race. What are the regulations with their pit stops? I mean, is there tyre changes? Are we allowed fueling? What's the regulations that we're looking at within a pit stop race strategy?
In this race today, it's open, so you can
all tyres.
Only racing tyres. Yeah.
Only racing tyres.
Yeah.
All available. No mandatories. And so, are we? From testing, I know you've done very limited testing. We're seeing kind of everyone. I'm presuming everyone's going to be starting on softs. The fuel rate isn't too bad, but for 45-minute races, it's probably about where you want it to be. I've never driven these cars on GT7. It's a relatively new car. I don't actually own it, otherwise I would probably be racing tonight. So we're looking at probably definitely a 1-stop, maybe a 2-stop depending on weather. You're down the lines of 2 unless someone gets it horribly wrong. The damage rate is this a hard damage rate, a weak damage rate?
It's on weak.
It's on a week, so there's going to be no limping to the pits. It will be, you know, an inconvenience at most. Taking a look at Mike here.
It will hurt, but it won't completely.
Wreck us. No, I think the big thing's going to be tyre strategy, and especially if it is more down the lines of people are just going to run softs until the potential of rain. A big spin could hurt you big time, couldn't it?
Yeah, and I find spinning this car very easy because it's the power on. It's nice downforce, very nice to drive.
Yeah,
power down.
It only takes a little bit of contact with another car, with a little wall. You get that forward drag, that bad right wheel, and all of a sudden, them right-hand turns become incredibly hard. You go for a little spin on your soft tyres of the half wall, and all of a sudden, they're not going to make it to the end of your stint. And that's going to change things, and so we may see a medium tyre come out if a bad accident happens. But looking at it on a 1-stop, 2-stop, the potential of weather here, we should be not seeing medium and hard compounds unless someone starts on a hard compound, I would suggest. But it all depends on how people have tuned their gearboxes, how the fuel rate is on these cars. We will see as the race develops that happening. So I believe we are about to start, so Adam is going to probably go quiet while he goes in for qualifying. I have a feeling Adam may join us back for the It's just the sporadic parts in the race. As Manos is leaving our pits first, I will change the display to display all so that we can see our fuel, tyre wear, our top speeds, and we're going to go for an outlap with Manos, as he is not going to hold us back, so we'll be posting the first time. Like we said, Manos is probably one of the faster drivers on track in this race, so he's definitely looking at a win, but there could be some interesting battles on the go. There's also the potential of some nasty spin outs, some weather inconveniences, and also some blue flags potentially, and it's interesting to see how blue flags always get negotiated. This track can tend to be quite narrow in places, and corners are quite quick and come up on you very quickly at times. I will apologise ahead of the time, I am not 100% familiar with the exact track names in my head. You have turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, etc, etc. We will try to keep an eye on the mini-map and look at splits. I do not have a spotter with me today. I'm a one-man team, very rusty one-man team, so we will try to keep up with all of the action and the battles as best as we can. But we are going on a lap as Manos comes through the final corner, and we'll ride this one on board with him at the moment, just to see exactly how he is getting on as he comes into the first right-hander, one of the sharpest corners on the track. We have seen Manos post low 148s. He will obviously get the fastest lap as he will be the first driver, and we can already see that his outlap was a 147 apparently. I'm not sure if that is true considering that he came out of the pits as well, but a 37 second sector 1. And we can already see the tyre wear could become a big issue on these racing softs. There's already a little bit of degradation on the front. It's quite balanced. Obviously, different drivers with different tunes on these cars, and with that in mind, it'll be interesting to see rear wheel and front wheel how even. I think we are expecting the fronts to wear quicker, but drivers have the use of LSDs, they have the use of they also have the use of brake balance to try and manage tyre wear a little bit better. Brake balance can help you manage partway through a race. Obviously once you've started you can't set your car up anymore, as Manos comes across here running a 48.23. Danker is just about coming around that final corner as well, and he's going to run a 49.3, so half a second in it as Mike comes round the final corner. He's running a 151, so a little bit further off the pace. Zoe now comes around the corner. She is running a 159. We have different classes, if you want to say. So there are pros, there are pro-ams, and there are ams in this race series. So we have a mix of abilities in this race, even though there is only 5 racers. We'll take a trip with Danker right now, who isn't far off the pace here. THG Scooterino, aka Adam the man, who we'll be checking in with often. He is only a 10th up. It'd be interesting to see if Danker is up on his time. It's always an interesting start to a race, but it's going to be interesting to see just how it paces out, especially with the top three being half a second at the moment. It kind of seems like we might be having two inside records. Manos posting a 48.2 there, so getting quicker. There's the potential of a 47 lap time here. Danker doesn't improve, in fact runs slower there. Be interesting to see if Mike, as he comes round, has he improved on his lap time. He's run slower as well. Scuderia doesn't run slower. He extends that gap on Danker by about half a second, 6/10. Zoe's now running a lot better than what she wanted with a 1:54. We'll go for a lap with Zoe right now. Now Zoe has said to me before this race that she isn't expecting to come anywhere but last in this race, but she's willing to give it a right good go. And as we always say, you always finish your races, you never know what happens. There could be a disconnection, there could be anything on, as Zoe gets a penalty which will affect this lap, which is kind of putting this lap as a write-off. We only have 10 minutes, so there is the opportunity for maybe one, maybe two laps more for these drivers. We saw a few guys getting out of the way of drivers as they're not on hot laps. I'm not sure if anyone's on a fast lap. Manos was on a fast lap, has improved by thousands, or hundreds, should I say. So he is just running consistent there, which is something we would have expected. Adam has unmuted himself. Adam, is there something you're wanting to report back on?
I crashed.
So Adam wasn't moving out of the way, he just crashed.
Yeah,
we're riding on board with Adam now.
Oh God.
So no pressure, Adam.
Yeah, too much power. I had a smashed up car, so I let, I think it's Mike and Zoe.
Adam, why don't you talk us through an ideal lap? I know you've got some tyre wear, but let's go through the lap with us. What are you doing? What's your thought process?
Honestly,
where are your braking points here? I know you've had minimal, but...
Looking on the left right now, just before the curving for me. Down the first. I don't know if I like first through her. I think the second might be quicker. So I seem to find that high revs are horrible. That wasn't great. I missed the apex, out on the right hand side of the curb. This is where I find the understeer kicks in. I'm on sort of half throttle all the way through. You can run out wide here, but I prefer not to. I was just a bit unsporting really, personally, but that's just me. Out to the right hand side by the white line, off the throttle in, down one gear, try to reach the apex, run out wide here, and probably too wide for me. If you pick up slipstream down here, that's brilliant. Again, I normally brake at the start of the curves personally, and I've left the power off way too long, so that's going to be slow. Got the DRS kicking in now as well up here. I look to the blackened curve there.
And how is the DRS working on this?
I seem to think it's literally just on throttle, so even the smaller areas of the track, like small straights, etc., like this one here.
It gives you that ability of a bit of a boost. And is that going to run out throughout? Is that something that will be expected, and it's just here for the foreseeable future? Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to get into this 1 second in.
Talk us through the chicane.
Braking just past for 100 metres. I think I was a little bit sooner. Whoa, that's twitchy, and that's very twitchy. First gear, I don't think my car likes it. I always run wide on the curve there, but that's just me. And
you should be getting another lap in though, so we will let you get that further lap in.
Oh, by a second!
So everyone else now, this is their lap. So we are expecting...
I won't get another lap. But I'm within 2 tenths. Well, basically I was nearly 2 tenths up of sector 3, so that could be quite a close battle between me and Manos. We'll see.
So, we've got Manos. Some considerable tyre wear, so the time should be falling off now. We don't have the optimal. 10 minutes was enough. It would have been interesting to see if anyone would have tried to dive in for a last minute pit stop, fresh tyres go out, but kind of losing 2-3 laps there. You kind of, if you can one shot it, you might have it there, but Manos runs a 147.8, gets it in right at the end. Dankert will be coming round for the next one. He's dropped off a little bit. He's still within half a second of Adam. Can he improve here? Looks good. It looks like he actually ran about half a second off that race, and I believe Mike is going to be the last runner. Yeah, Mike will be the last runner to cross the line. That's a horrible view, I apologise for that. Mike, didn't get to finish the lap. He was unsure whether he was running fast, so just to look at those times again, Manos takes pole with a 147.8. So although Adam said that it should be tight with Manos, that final lap just there, unless Adam can pull something out, it's looking to be quite close within the middle 3 at the moment. Zoe isn't going to make it easy for them though, maybe not under blue flags. I think she's quite a nice driver under blue flags and won't be looking to ruin anyone's races today, but cars on tracks mean that it creates those situations. But we are looking, it's a short field today, but it's going to be a good one. So I think we will be starting momentarily. We're just waiting for the drivers just to have a little minute break, make sure they've got anything. I'll take a sip of water as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these 45 laps go. We're not expecting Manos to run... Oh, that's not what we wanted. We're not expecting Manos to run 147s for the whole race, but given that our average of, I'd say, a 149-ish, do some calculations here. The 1 minute 49 times by 45, we are looking at about an hour 20 for this race to be driving for. So it is, it's just, I'd say, a longer sprint race in terms of, in my head, a sprint race is about an hour to an hour and 30. So this is on the longer end of the sprint races. A lot of this kind of format, endurance racing, is considered at the 2 hour mark, would be a standard endurance race. For those of you who may have seen some of our races that we've put on, that we're planning on putting on, you will know that the endurance races that we are used to, this is a sprint race for good. One stop, two stop, we are only running for an hour and 20 minutes.
You are aware we're racing, right?
No.
Oh dear.
That's fine, we're in now. It booted me out and then I came back in. So we have missed the absolute start, unfortunately. We are on lap 2. We've missed the entire first lap. Don't ask me how that's happened.
That was rude, wasn't it?
That's gone well, hasn't it? Adam, just talk us through that first lap. What the heck happened? Because you are now in first.
Yeah, so I got Manos into the first corner. I was a little bit rude, if anything. I had the inside lines to start a second, and then I just simply outbraked and ran my car out wide on the exit and simply stopped my car right in front of his nose so he can accelerate, which is a little bit naughty, but Andre Lotterer once did a very similar move in the Audi R18 there. That's where I picked it up. So he couldn't accelerate because my car was in the way. So yeah, that's where I picked up the lead.
Well, apologies for that. It just means that we might get an overtake at some point. I'll be worth saying that even though you didn't get to run as many laps, Manos was 7 tenths faster than you in qualifying. We're not sure if that's your full potential, his full potential, but it's kind of looking like this could be Manos' to run away with potentially the next 3 battling it out. We can see here Manos is pushing Adam hard to try and take that lead back again. And we have the music back again, which is not ideal. But I don't want to pull away yet. I will fix that at some point. It's not the end of the world. We'll see if we can change that. No, we can't change that from here. So it leads Adam running into turn 1, followed by Manos also running into turn 1. That's then followed by Mike, who's coming around the corner there. Dunkirk only a few seconds behind, but is pushing. No change in the order there. And Zoe just getting to grips with the race start. But the battle right now is for the lead, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a lot of battling between these two today. Again, apologies that we did miss the start of the race. But these things happen. It's still adjusting to GT7, GT6 streams. As we are on board with Manos. We can already see again these the wheels are scrubbing a bit more at the front, the fuel is dropping. Manos is running very quick and has closed that down. He's had a twitchy run though, so he's lost half a second there, and Adam's kind of got away with it. He was running purples, but then Adam goes fastest 148.3, and Adam actually does take that little squirm at the end. Has hurt Manos there, as he is going to try and take this battle to the next lap. At the rate he's currently running, we would probably be looking around lap 5 to 6 for a potential overtake. I mean, Adam's not running slowly, bearing in mind that Adam is currently racing with me in his ears at the same time. So the rest of the drivers are not. They might have music in their ears, they might have screaming children, dogs barking, you name it. But Adam has me talking in his ear at the same time. And we can hear Adam shifting along as well. As he meets himself, wasn't a problem. Like I said, Adam will be here to chime in and chime out. I have a feeling right now that he will just be focusing, as Manos again has taken quite a lot of time. He's back under the second mark. And is running 3 tenths faster than Adam. So he is running a 148 dead, and he makes up a lot of time, breaks a lot later than Adam, as it seems. Oh, he's cut the corner there. Is that going to be a penalty? Is that going to hurt him on the next lap? penalties are on, and we know Gran Turismo penalties are very, very sporadic and brutal, but he has lost a full second there as Adam. He does run fastest, but he lost a heck of a lot of time there, so we will keep an eye on that in a lap or two. Let's take a look at Dankert, because he is only 1.4 seconds around behind Mike. And are we going to get a situation here where we're going to have two overtakes going at the same time? Nope, it's going to happen right now. Well done, Dankert, for avoiding that. But Mike has just skidded and lost it going into turn 1. Zoe's going to get a bit of an advantage there as he has cooked his tyres a little bit. You can already see the difference there between the tyres. It's not amazingly bad, but he has now lost a lot of time on Dankert and is going to have to really focus. Let's just check in back with the lead as it's still a second. Adam is putting in some quicker times here, but Manos seems to be faster around the entire track, but he just can't hold that last chicane at the moment. He seems to be losing. Remember, when you're about 7 tenths, you're going to get that slipstream. 7.5 tenths, the slipstream is at its most powerful, and Adam is doing his damn best just to keep him out of the actual slipstream. We know we've got this DRS function, but both drivers will get that DRS function, so it should be even. All cars are running the exact same. Manos has nailed that, so no time loss, so we would expect potentially a move to come in the next lap for Manos. Is he going to get brave and try and go for a dive bomb into turn 1? I think he might just be, without that slipstream, he might just be a bit too far away. It is the best overtaking opportunity on this track. He's going to play it safe. He's way too far back to try and make a move there. It's going to be interesting because when Manos gets going, he will put them laps in, but following a driver and being in front of them are two very different things. Some drivers are better off following someone and judging their line and going for the move. They're better at attacking than defending, and some drivers, when they've got that clear air in front of them, no dirty air, they can just pull away, and that's something that Manos will be looking to do. And isn't making it easy for him though, and is running consistent himself. Adam got him out of that slipstream right when he needed to. These are the two fastest sections on the track. Manos is now getting that slipstream. Just looking at the tyre wear, Adam actually has worse tyre wear, considering he's in clean air. It can be something to do with simply driving style, the way the car's set up, you name it. We won't leave the battle for the lead right now. We're being so close, half a second now, and Manos takes a lot more curve going into the chicane, and it loses him about half a second on Adam every time. So it's going to be interesting. I do understand that Adam can hear everything I'm saying.
Just a bit of information, check the gears.
So Adam's just told us to check the gears. Has Adam got an issue with the gears? Or maybe he's pointing out that in certain corners he's taking gears very differently. Manos has had a little slide, a little bit unstable there, so it's going to benefit Adam again.
I mean specifically the final chicane, I reckon that's what it is.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll stay with Adam at the moment, and we'll see him go through, and then we'll have a little bit of a deeper look to Manos. This is currently where the action is. The other drivers have kind of a space and groove. It'd be interesting to see if Mike can at some point get that position back that he lost with his little spin out of turn 1. What probably happened there is he was we were obviously not following him at the time, but he probably got into gear 1 and just didn't like it. Sometimes, as Adam said, going into that first corner, it might just be better to be in gear 2. A lot of tyre spin coming out of that extremely slow corner can unsettle the car. So we're looking here going into the chicane. Adam drops to gear 2 and Manos is in gear 1. So that could have a lot to do with it. So Manos is going to really have to work out here if he knows where he's fast, and he seems to see where he's losing it at that one chicane right now. He is running consistent 148 as it stands, with Adam also running 148, but you can see there that Adam's actually, the last 2 laps he has run faster, but then again, Manos has the fastest time, and he ran a race. He ran laps faster, 2 laps in a row faster than Adam's best lap at this point in time. So it is extremely even in this race. The tyre wear is progressively bad on these racing softs. We're probably just over about 60% tyre wear. You maybe don't want to get that tyre down below 25% if you can help it, but sometimes some drivers will just push it if the fuel won't like it. It'll be interesting to see, because the fuel rates that we're seeing, over half fuel for pretty much every driver. So the fuel rate is the same. Nobody's done anything too crazy with their gears. We're on with Dan Kurt right now, and he is looking to put some decent times in. I have a feeling someone has just put a message. So we're back on with Manos, just because with 1.5 seconds, this is what you want to be watching. We'll go for a little onboard with Manos and just see what it looks like from his perspective as to where the line is. We'll go into the top-down view just because we know a lot of people will drive this view. So Corey, who is unavailable today, would be racing otherwise, but happy birthday to his son, because that is a very good reason as to why he is not in this race. I'm sure many of you will agree. Corey said that Manos keeps having some problems getting traction off of turn 2. Now, we did see when we were following Adam not too long ago, the car seems very unsettled round that turn. We're going to stay on board with him for a couple of laps here, and we're just going to see if he is doing something, if he's maybe over driving the car, or it could be just simply tyre wear. We're not sure how much practice he's done with the car. We're not entirely sure of how the car is set up compared to Adam's. We are seeing that Adam, I believe, had slightly worse tyre wear. But Adam's car seems right now to be the more stable of the two. We can see that Mike is catching up Dan Kirk, so we may have to switch at some point. We can see here he's back into gear 1, he takes as much of that curve as possible. You can just see Adam ahead of it. He does seem to take a slightly lighter attack on that first chicane. We're going to go, we'll run inboard so we can see the steering wheel now going into turn 1 and turn 2 with Manos. Corey will be very keen to see what happens. We'll be able to see Adam there. He brakes a lot later into turn 1 there, and then coming into turn 2. Yeah, he's just getting in, and then into the turn 3. This is, it's twitchy, it's definitely twitchy. But it's there, We're going to have to keep an eye on two battles at the moment. This battle is even closer, but we've also got the battle here between Mike and Danker. There's still quite a bit of time there as Mike just goes off, so we will rejoin back to see here. We will be keeping an eye on that second battle as well. These drivers never make it easy on us when we're streaming to just have one battle at a time.
I can pull over if you want.
No, don't do that. This is great. We got just not complaining too much about having two battles on the time. This is the closer battle of the two, and we will see Manos. It's better, but he is still losing time there. So it's just going to be the case, I think, here. Manos, there's a lot of points in the track where Manos is a lot faster than Adam, and there's other corners where Adam is faster than Manos, and that's what is making this such an interesting battle. Let's have a quick look at Danker and Mike and see how they get on taking these corners. So we can see there that Mike is running consistently in the 50s, with Danker running also consistently in the 50s. We're starting to get some of the higgledy timing screens that Gran Turismo 7 loves us to have. Manos is just forever just inside between that 7 and 6, and he almost just needs that opportunity to go into a braking zone at about 3 tenths for him to make a move. But it does look like the setup of Manos' car, it's better on the braking, it's better down the straights, but into those little slow corners he is struggling for a bit of traction. The tyre wear is not going to help at the moment. It's going to be, look, another little squirm there.
So you might be looking at a high downforce setup versus a low downforce setup,
and that's where we're thinking that there is definitely something in this, because tyre wear and everything is different, but we are seeing Adam is better in the slow speed corners, Manos is stronger in the high speed and the straights. So this is where we're expecting. So he's always about a second behind at the moment, and we're just starting to see he's not got slipstream, remember, at this moment. From what I believe, standard real slipstream is on, which means that the slipstream is really effective about 7.5 tenths when you're 7.5 tenths away. So this is just where we are seeing now that he has taken that a lot better this lap round, and we're seeing, look, he's just taken half a second out of him just by running a little bit slower, a little bit more controlled, and now he's really putting Adam under some pressure, because this is where he then perks up. Now he does have slipstream, so Adam's going to have to really defend well to shake him off, or hope for a little mistake. Otherwise could be a move going into the chicane, which Adam probably won't want, considering that he knows that he's gaining time on him in that chicane. And we do have 2 fast sections coming up. It is just interesting. Adam's tyre wear is going, I mean, Adam is pushing. Adam is not holding back, but he can't. When you've got someone as, when you've got the pole leader, someone for the race, you know, fastest lap of the race so far, pushing behind you. This is the closest Manos has been coming up to the chicane section. I still think it's a bit too far. It's a very tight, narrow, but if he doesn't lose too much time, which he hasn't, so he hasn't lost anywhere close to the time that he's normally been losing. So this is going to be interesting. Going into turn 1, he'll have the slipstream. He'll be nice and close up to him. And this is what we mean. The drivers all know that about 7.5 tenths, that is the slipstream zone. So Adam G just saw breaking the slipstream off to the right. He can't weave. He is allowed one movement. He can casually come back onto the racing line, but he cannot make erratic movements. Erratic movements. But Manos is keying it off. He's had a little off there, but it's going to be close. And Manos has just got to be thinking at this point, if I can't get the move done, it might come down to making a switch in strategy, maybe running a lap further, running a lap earlier, going for the undercut or the overcut. Gran Turismo, the overcut normally is strong, but you've got to remember that weather radars do play effect nowadays, and sometimes you don't get the full benefit of a tyre. We're lap 13, so we're not halfway. Probably got about another hour of racing left at the rates that these guys have been running. I'm heading towards maybe an hour 23 minus pit stops, which will slow them down. So maybe an hour 25 race at this current point. Manis is right on Adam's tail now. He's starting to eye it in, but an off. Was not expecting that. A commentator's curse right when he gets the closest, and Adam gets some breathing space right before a crucial moment in this race with the pit strategy, and Manos is gonna have to build all of that hard work up again and recompose himself. So we have a big chunk here, and while we have that, let's have a look at someone we haven't looked at yet. We'll ride on board with Zoe, who is running her race, being consistent within her race. We've seen here that she has run her fastest time of 1:51.7. The tyre wear has started to take an effect, but you can see immediately from not battling the tyres that she has. She is doing a great job at conserving tyres, and for Zoe to really, based off of the times that she's running, she's going to sit here and know the best option she has is on strategy. So she's going to be trying to work it out, to run the strategy, but she is doing a fantastic job with her tyres, which is going to stop her from making them silly mistakes. Mike has still got that 7-second lap difference between Dankert. He spun in front of Dankert outside, just after lap 2. I am trying to see, my phone does not want to load up. Yes, Corey Dertier is not going to help Manos. It won't help his tyres, it won't help the stability, and that probably was a victim of that. And we wasn't ready for it. We've missed lap 1. We've missed, unfortunately, we've missed Adam overtaking Manos into turn 1. Apologies for that. We didn't miss Mike's little spin-off. I believe that the gap wasn't too bad, so Mike may have had another off somewhere, as Dankert's tyres look absolutely shredded there. We haven't missed too much, and we almost missed Manos going off. Got Matt. I'm not going to read Matt's comment out loud, purely based, I mean, he could be watching, but purely based on the fact that Adam can hear everything I'm saying, and I don't want to give him a slight unfair advantage over Manos. Not that Adam would take that. I think Adam probably has an idea of where we are going, but Matthew Pigg has chimed in with what he'd be doing. Again, a shame. I wondered if we'd see Matt on track today, but he's obviously not available.
You missed me falling off.
Well, I wanted to give some of the other guys some airtime, so we can't just watch you all the time. Adam, what we're coming into a crucial part of the race. Are you planning on just running the tyres down? Are you planning on running the fuel down? What are your thoughts here? Because we're seeing people in the comments now chiming in, giving what they would. Well, that's just answered our question, isn't it? The two guys at the front pack have done exactly what Matthew Pigg had said, that they'd be stopping at lap 15 and then running to the end. So we're looking at 15 lap stints. That would put you on a 2-stop. You did think this is the potential for a 1-stop is what you said, but then you said 2-stop with potential weather. Is it going to...
It's more to do with tyres, I think, really. I mean, you can put mediums on and stretch it, which it did cross my mind for certain. Then you are immediately slower, and with the pace up front, that was my original plan actually, but because of Manus's pace, I'm just
you're going to go soft and go for it.
Yeah, what else can I do?
Well,
just go.
the thing will be, and we are seeing there, no driver has fueled fully. There's kind of, the tyre wear is greater than the fuel burn rates. So personally, it always comes down to tyres. As a driver, it is a lot nicer when your pit stops are dictated by your tyres, but also it's a little bit more fun when you have to work the fuel to your advantage, and you can underfuel and overfuel. You can get quicker pit stops and not have the tyre change. It's all different there. We are seeing that some people are choosing the medium. We wondered at the beginning of the day whether we would see a medium tyre. I've just seen that a tyre has gone medium. Now, Manos has made some time up in the pits massively. Adam, were you expecting that, or has this caught you out a little bit to your strategy?
Well, it's caught me out hugely to my strategy, because first stop was going to be medium, but I didn't expect to be leading the race. I did think he'd gain some time on the stop, just because when you're sat behind someone, it's easy to save fuel, just let them do all the work. But I wasn't expecting 3 seconds.
Well, we were going to say he went in with about 3 seconds gap. We can also see that it looks like, it might not be as close, but Dan Kirk, Zoe has done the jump. I don't want to pull away from this because it's so close, and I can see on the mini-map that it's quite spaced out. We will check in at some point. I'm apologising ahead of time that we have missed that, but when I saw the gap that Manos managed to make up in the pits, this is where the action is. We have to follow the action when it's here. It'll be really interesting to see. Mike has had a few offs now. He might have jumped in. We don't know how much practice he's done. Time is limited. People have day jobs. Manos is really pushing him now. He's a lot more confident. I believe he has. He does. He's running a lighter car now, which Adam kind of gathered when he saw him flying out of the pits after underfueling. It could bite him if he has underfueled too much from his tyres, but Manos is very wise, very savvy. And that'll explain why Zoe hadn't pitted yet. We were so focused here that we had. I'm guessing that you're all saying that in the comments. Matthew said that it was a quick pit stop just there, and the lap times did drop quite considerably. Yeah, you can see here that when you come into it, Manos there, his in-lap was a 1:52. He's gone off again. He's really not getting all of that chicane, and that is giving Adam a massive benefit. So 5.5 seconds gap there. Adam just running consistent seems to be working with you at the moment. You're not complaining too hard. We're just going to jump on some of the others whilst that gap. Manos is doing well to decrease the gap on Adam, but just every time he seems to get in the striking zone at the moment, is almost putting too much pressure on him. There's going to be dirty air, there's going to be, you know, but he's having to push, and now that he's under fuels, he won't mind just following along, saving fuel, because he'll get the overtake on the next pit stop. But every time he takes an off and he has to push that car a bit further, he's going to burn a bit more fuel. He could be, if he doesn't manage that car well, he could put himself in a bit of trouble where he's having to pit maybe a lap earlier. Mike has now pit, and we are going to see it's quite a quick pit stop here. We don't have the pit time because Gran Turismo 7, Mike has gone on to mediums. Now I wonder, is this just a straight swap for softs, because he's come out on mediums and decided not the tyre for me, I don't have the gap, I think Mike has decided to take a break. That's what it's looking like. He is doing nothing is happening on, so THG Zoe gets an overtake. It's not an on-track overtake in terms of the actual pass, but like we said, you've got to be on track to get the overtakes. You've got to, that turn one is so slippy if you go in first gear, you can over rev the car, go in too hot and come out, but she is running in fourth now. She will have some issues as Adam is quickly coming up to her. But like we say, you don't know what happens, and even though you can admit right at the start, Zoe has said from the start, I'm probably going to come last, I'm here for fun, I'm here for a good time, I'm here for good practice. The more you race, the better you get. And look now, you keep racing, you turn up, you get the points, you get the championship podiums. That's how you do it. And you turn up and race, you never know what happens. Mike, I'm hoping Mike hasn't retired here, and he's just taking a bit of a break from this, as Zoe lets Adam pull over. We say hi to Fee, who's watching. Just reading the comments. Matt stating that 11, 12 laps could have worked. But I'm going to be interested to see what the weather is going to do here. That's what I'm going to be interested. Zoe knows that Manos is coming up on her, but we're coming up to the straight, so it shouldn't be a squeaky bum time for Manos, as he runs fastest with a lighter car, fresher tyres, 1:47.4. So Manos, he can't hang back, especially now that there's a car in between. And in all of that, Zoe was able to let Manos pass, doing an absolutely fantastic job on the blue flags there. Some of these guys are very, very quick. They are a lot faster than me when I'm on track, and when you've got the race leaders flying around, blue flags are never fun. We can just see in the background top left corner, the clouds are starting to roll in. We have no access to a radar, so we cannot see what's going on, because for some reason on spectator mode it doesn't let you flick across to the radar. Stick it GT7 please. But Manos is doing a little bit of pushing and having to manage the car just a little bit. Adam is doing a good job. There we are in that section where we've spaced out quite a bit. Dan Kerr is actually running very, very consistent, so we'll stick on board with him for the moment, just keeping an eye on that front two and the little mini map. So Matt Pig has just mentioned about the fact the chances of rain and whether it can rain here. I believe it can. I'm not sure if we can get the heaviest of rains, but there could be. Penalties are on, it's ever so quick, so that is going to help Zoe out a little bit there. There is the potential that the clouds could get darker, the winds could pick up, which may have a effect going towards the end of the race. We were talking earlier, there's the potential in maybe 10 to 15 laps that rain may come about, but we will see. Drivers have been warned to be prepped in this race series with wet tyres. So it looks like Mike has decided to retire. We're not sure if he just had an unsettled car, something went wrong in the car, but it looks like he has retired, which is a little bit sad to lose a runner mid-race, but he decided to go onto the mediums. He maybe decided that wasn't the best of tyres to go on. He also did underfuel quite a bit, so I think if you're going to go onto mediums, you need to run to the fuel, not the tyres. We're seeing again Zoe's tyres. Considering that we have established now that this is a tyre limited race, that your pit stops are dependent on your tyres, Zoe is doing a great job of managing her tyres. Exactly what you need to do. She's not running as fast as, you know, the top two are running, so she is taking less out of her tyres naturally, but it all does help, and it will help her later on in the stint when it comes to her potentially spinning out. And just manage your fuel, manage your tyres, and if you can do this, you can push back. You know, it's definitely getting darker. You know, it's no longer sunny, it's now overcast, so if there is the potential the rain can come at any moment, making this stint last as long as you can, manage your fuel, manage your tyres, you could potentially just extend that safe point to getting onto potential intermediates, which is probably, or if it does rain on a 45 lap race, it's probably only going to be intermediates. What we are seeing, Manos now, he's got that 6 second gap back down under 3. So you've had a bit of a comfortable few laps there, Adam, with Manos having to play the catch-up game. It's played in your favour that off because you haven't had to push as hard. What are you thinking now? Where's your head at?
My head is trying to fuel save. I now wish I fueled fully, let him have his position. But oh well, I didn't, because I didn't expect that to happen, to be leading the race. So yeah, a little bit of regret right now. So
we could be playing catch up. I mean, you're saying that you're playing fuel saving. I'm not going to talk too much about Manos' situation just because it wouldn't be fair to. But what? So. Well, we're in your head here. You can't see a radar either because you've bought a new fancy wheel and you don't know how to use it yet.
There's no toggles.
From what we understand, Manos probably can see a radar, and he probably is keeping an eye on that. We can't see a radar. We are as blind to you as possible. Not that we've passed that information over to you anyway. We're seeing some things in the comments about, is there rain on this track? Could it happen?
It can.
It can rain. So Matthew Pig, that's just to confirm that it can rain on this short track. There is the potential of rain in this race. Earlier forecast did say that there was some light to high winds, so light rain, high winds, but that can change. From my own experience on this game with managing weather when organising races, You can put weather situations in and the game will just ignore everything and do what it likes. Or you can set it up so that it will do it at a certain time and it can decide to do it earlier, later, heavier, stronger. You can never guarantee the weather in this game, which I like. I like that it does that. You can manipulate it so far, but Adam running back under pressure here from Manos. Adam, we've seen we're down to 4 runners now. It makes the track a little bit less congested for you, so less squeaky bum blue flag times for you. A bit of a shame to not be running with Mike at the moment. Do you think he went on to mediums? Do you think he made the wrong call and didn't want to go back on?
No, he spoke to me before the race that he may have to quit in a certain situation of those. So okay. I'm assuming that's what's happened. I've now got Manos right on me.
I mean, you're both square. I mean, the dirty air around this track and in these cars is...
I reckon that's what's put him on.
It's definitely... He's getting down to the striking zone very, very quickly, and the minute he's getting under a second, finding it very, very difficult. I mean, you're not making it easy. You're experienced at defending. You know how to position the car. You've kind of gathered where he's, from looking at your timers, we know that you'll be looking at that time going into the corners, knowing, okay, he's losing time in this corner, I'm gaining time in that corner.
To be honest, I'm sort of thinking, I know it's going to be a stupid comment, but hey, my high downforce car is probably giving him more draft or whatever, it's probably making it even worse for him to follow behind, so maybe that was a good thing. Because every time he's got close, he's fallen off. So I'm glad of my big rear wing.
Yeah. So it's going to keep it interesting. The worry is then that once he gets in front of Adam, is he just going to pull away?
Likely, because that's what Manos does.
Well, that is what Manos does, but we'd like to give it a good old go.
I'll give it a race if I can. I was a little bit naughty on the first lap, but
it is a shame that we. It is a shame that we did miss that. Normally, it does. I thought once you were even spectating, it would boot you straight over. Not on this game. Not on this game.
Yeah, that's a shame. I didn't give that a thought, if I'm honest.
No, it's fine. I just thought we were taking a little break before we started. I think since Gran Turismo 7, see, it's a little off here, a little off there. Both drivers making mistakes. Now this is the closest we have seen, and I'm going to let Adam concentrate now.
Right. Ha!
Because it's heating up now, so we'll jump back in with Adam at some point, but we're going to focus here because this has been a right good battle for the full 25 laps. We've had offs from both drivers, a few more from Manos, which I'm gonna sit here and say that that's something we weren't expecting, but dirty air, close driving in these cars on this track is not the most ideal. We'll ride on board with Manos, and it's, you can see there the DRS working in effect down the straight. That downforce adjustment really helping him down that straight to just shave time out of Adam, even when he doesn't have the slipstream. Adam is a lot more stable, making up tenths of a second in the corners, high speed, mid speed and low speed, but Manos in the slipstream now, starting to take out time and time again. He's been able to brake a lot later. No contact there, as clean as you like. But then again, look around these mid to low speed corners, look at the time. Now Manos is actually starting to make time in these corners, but then we come to the slower ones here and Adam's having to keep his car on track. So Manos in this first, I think there's 3 sectors on this track, and in the first and second sectors Manos seems to create so much time on Adam and then loses it all at the chicane, gets in that dirty air and then can't strike at turn 1. seems to be the case here. We can see from this position, those clouds have definitely gotten darker as both players squibble a little bit into that turn. We're seeing people in the comments advising Manos to play the undercut, play it weird. You can see them clouds getting greyer, but the sun is still there, still peaking. Now, based off of this, we were kind of expecting a 2-stop. That would mean that we're 4 stops away based off of the previous pit stop at lap 15. Both of these drivers have underfueled. Adam has admitted that he is fuel saving. And he is fuel saving pretty hard. Manos is keeping up with him. We can see here, Manos, was he going for it? I think he was just trying to put Adam under a little bit of pressure, because there was surely no way he was going to be able to go around the outside there. But Manos is pushing. Glad I had the rear shot on for that. Manos squibbly in these turns. There is the option, you're right, fuel saving, if these drivers, if they don't run this on one short shift. Short shift is king on Gran Turismo, but you can fuel map as well for the ultimate short shift. There's low tyre wear. Manos has been running 148. That to me doesn't sound like Manos' fuel saving, in my opinion. Adam's definitely been fuel saving. He has admitted he has had an off, and is that it allows Manos to go through. That could change Adam's strategy, and Manos now has the advantage. It's just a simple miscalculation, but Manos is really putting pressure. And it's going to be interesting now to see the kind of lap times now that Manos has gone over that hurdle. Will Adam be able to keep up? He is racing. I mean, we can see here the lap times. They're not massively. Adam's lost it a bit there. We can see the tyre wear is a factor. And surely Adam's got to be thinking now, he's got to try and make some of these seconds back up on pit stop strategy, and just keep an eye on those clouds, because a silly mistake. Adam will be the first to admit that. He sounded like it was coming. He said that he was. He was, struggling a little bit. Adam, where did you go wrong there? You just seemed to just take a little bit too much of the curb, hit the grass a little bit. Is that essentially what happened, or?
Yeah, understeer really. Yeah, it's just a little clip of understeer and hit the grass, and that's it. You're off. It was one of those silly mistakes. Maybe I just calculated it wrong going in, but yeah, I just sort of slid off in slow motion, sort of. Yeah, it's a shame to lose the fight like that. But... Yeah,
well, he was putting you under that, especially that last lap. He was really pushing you. We had a bit of a rear cam going you at one point, and turn 1, he went for a very deep move on you, and just about judged it right as you'd expect him to do.
Notice.
Well, we weren't expecting you to notice. We were on board with you looking backwards, and we definitely noticed it. But he got very, very close, put you under pressure. Did that have a bit of a factor? You knew that he was right there. Were you kind of looking back a lot, or were you just able to just focus forward?
I was just focusing forward. I mean, at first it felt more pressure before the first stop, but then I sort of learned that it gets within 4 attempts, but you kind of just stays there. That wasn't really well. It was just a blip of no concentration or whatever. Yeah. I just drifted a little bit wide. If it hit the white line, and it just that was enough to have me off, really.
So for you now, this is no longer a defending game. This has gone back to, right, this is going to come down to tyre management, fuel management. I mean, Manos has had some offs. We've seen where he's faster, slower. We know where he might be able to relax a little bit now, but he's not ran a clean race himself. Yeah, may have a major factor to it, which he won't have now, but he had to race hard that stint. He had to race very hard that stint, so that could play into you on the strategy front. Maybe we are, you know, keeping an eye on the sky, looking for the weather. The clouds are getting darker, but not rain dark, so you're kind of at this point hoping for a complete downpour just before you get into the pits, aren't you?
Yeah, then I know what I'm doing.
and then you know what you're doing, and then you can... Yeah.
If it can rain when Manos goes past his pits, and then it can just start raining whilst I'm behind him, I can pit, get good tyres, let him fall off somewhere. That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be the interesting. We're not biased at all, but that's going to give us some more action. The comments did come a little bit when you decided to take the grass. Your reputation preceded you with that little move there. We're just looking. Yeah.
Well, I always thought the grass was faster, you see. It wasn't quick about that, was it?
Grass is faster. There's less friction on the grass, which means quicker lap times, correct?
Yes. Especially into the chicane. You get there a lot faster than everyone else.
Yeah, so we are going to probably be entering kind of that lull zone now where we can flick around, watch some of the other guys, and it's going to kind of come into who dips in first, who makes the next big mistake. Because I mean, there's only 7 seconds, but Dan Kurt is running a good race behind Adam here. Lap times aren't too far off where you'd expect them to be. I'm not going to start just because, again, we can see on that right side Dan Kurt's times. Adam doesn't need to know what them times are. He can sweat it out if he starts to see. He'll be able to see the time drop and rise. So we're just in that point. All the drivers pitted on lap 15 apart from Zoe, who pitted slightly later due to great time management. We are expecting potentially some pits in the next 2 to 3 laps. I'd say someone would pit, maybe all of them. I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see. As we say that, Manos enters the pits, and like we said, Manos took 2 and a bit seconds, 2 to 3 seconds off of Adam, who retakes the lead. Off of Adam there, which gave us this crazy battle that we just had, due to the fact that he massively underfueled. So it's going to be interesting to see how much he fuels up again this time round. We'll stay with him just to see what he does. Because Manos is going to be looking here, lap 30, 31, he's going to be looking, that's the 2 stop done, no more stops for me, run this out to the end, so long as he doesn't underfuel.
I actually did sound a bit cheeky then. I was going to pit, try something different, and then Manos pitted, so I stayed out. You never know.
Yeah, Adam changing up the strategy. You've got, when you're running in second with a guy who is running faster on the day, this is how you're going to get the lead back. This is how you're going to run. Well, the thing will be Adam's tyres, Adam's fuel. He's going to have to pit at some point. We can see there with the amount of fuel he has. Adam's tyres will now be worse. Manos will be, I can't say that he has, you know, cold tyres because this game isn't that advanced, but you definitely notice it on lap 1. Them tyres, they're not full effect. but they'll be better than the tyres that Adam will have now. So it's going to be interesting as to how many laps and how much time Manos can take out of him. We can see that Adam is definitely going all the way down to the fuel. High risk strategy, Adam, to go for the
0.9
to go for the overcut.
It's not gonna be an overcut.
Blue flag situation here. Will it hurt you? Danker isn't gonna want to affect himself too much.
He's gonna stay out ahead because he's quicker car than me right now.
He has just come out of the pits, so it would be silly of him to try unless you're right up him. You don't get penalties for running under blue flags in this game, I believe. So Adam is now furiously trying to concentrate whilst keeping an eye on that clock. It'd be interesting to see if this benefits Adam in the long run. Short term, because he's now in the dirty air, and this is the problem. We saw how much the dirty air actually affected Manos. We can't actually see the time gap difference between, but that's got to be about a second and a half to a second, right? That Danker is running there. Maybe a bit further. So the dirty air could become a factor to Adam, but Adam's setup, super grippy setup. The downforce of the dirty air will probably affect him last. Adam does pull into the pits, or just about makes it into the pits. Almost had a bit of a collision with the wall there. Damage is on weak, but it would have probably affected him going into the pits. So the difference will be now, can Manos get back around that track before Adam fuels up? Adam will need to fuel less, he will get the fresh tyres, he'll probably go for the softs, it would be stupid not to. And this is the crucial part, Manos is going to come round the final corner. Adam is still needing to fuel up. Manos comes across the line, retakes first position, and Adam is still fueling up. It doesn't seem to have worked. It was high risk. We did see that there was about 7 seconds between them before Manos made the pit. There's now 9, 10 and a half seconds. So Adam did lose a bit of time. However, Adam will have 2 laps fresher tyres. He has, the fuel rate, could be, close. Adam may or may not have more fuel on board. He will be able to underfuel the car. It's 11 seconds. Manos has the warm tyres now. This is going to come down to who loses it when the tyres get down. Weather could have an effect. It could be interesting, but it seems right now, short term, it hurt Adam. It was a high risk. We weren't expecting him. We knew he was going for the 1 lap. We were on board with him at the time, but we wasn't expecting him to go for the 2 lap overcut.
What's just happening is what I tried to stay out for. It's raining. I stayed out for the rain. That's what I was doing.
It's coming. So we're coming on to racing soft tyres. So is the way there, because we're riding on board, so we can see rain. It might be different where we might not actually see rain. I'm not sure how it'll work. We can see that the clouds are grey. There's almost 10 laps left. Is this going to get to an intermediate race start from what you're seeing in your car right now? What's the feel like? Because we're not seeing any drips right now.
That's what I call psychological rain right now. I just tried to stay out just in case it rained, because I was going to give away 5 seconds or so, which is what I did, but you never know, you could gain if you don't have to pit again. If it started raining, I could just jump into winters. Of course, that could have been the wrong move also, but I'd rather at least try because I was in second anyway.
Yeah. So the interesting factor will be now for Zoe, who could make up a position here if she thinks it's going to rain and decides to take the gamble and go on to the intermediates now, and just run it slow and run it slow for a few laps. On our screen, we can't see any rain and we can't see a radar. Adam's kind of hesitating, saying there is the potential of rain. There's less than 10 laps here, so you surely don't need a full tank here, Zoe. What's she going to go at? She's going to hit the 80% mark. She's going to go for a full tank. Just under a full tank. No, she's actually been very good on her tyre and fuel management. Saves a blue flag situation there with Danka, who does go off. We will stay on board with Zoe at the moment, just so we can view two cars. You can see it getting darker immediately there. We're having no reports of any further rain, but it is definitely getting darker. 10 laps, or well, we've got a few more than 10 laps, 12 laps to go. Is rain enough to make a massive difference? The track it would have to be, I think, light rain at this point. Probably not going to affect, might just make it a bit greasy on the last lap. That's where Adam could benefit with them 2 lap fresher tyres. But I think it would have to be a heavy downpour, because down the straight it's very dark, but this end of the track it's looking pretty light and probably fine, to be fair. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Have a look at what our race leader is doing. He's running comfortably 48. I don't think he's going to get a time faster than 1:47.1. I don't think Adam's going to get that low down again, so I think we're past that lap. But you can see there that since he got past Adam, he's had the clear air, he's been super consistent. You see lap 29, his tyres really started to drop off. The tyres in this car around this track, the degradation rate, you can see there that once they drop off, they are dropping off by 1 to 2 seconds quite drastically. He's running incredibly fast though in this first stage of his what would this be? He's pitted twice, so this is his third stint. The question will be is who's looking at the radar and will we get rain? We've had kind of a radar promise of rain. We can see it's looking greasy out there. We don't know if it is raining and we're just not seeing it because of the stream disconnect. Manos has just ran a fastest sector there, so for everything I've just said about the fact that he probably won't get the fastest lap time there, it's clearly, if it is running a bit slick and a bit wet, it's not affecting him in the slightest. We'll see how he does as he comes through the next sector, and he's ran a bit slower in that, but we do know that this final sector is not Manos' strongest sector, so maybe not a new fastest lap. Adam there has lost a bit of time to Manos as well, 14 seconds behind. Adam is running a little bit slower per lap. Adam would expect that. Manos is the faster driver. Manos has probably had a bit more practice. He's in clean air. But you see there where Manos loses time, where Adam's able to make time. But for now, with 9 laps to go, with 8 laps to go, we just wait and see if the race lead will actually affect, or weather effect as well. Dankert has lost a few seconds off of Adam. Shouldn't be looking to get overtaken by Manos at this rate. 8 laps to go. He's 1 minute 22 seconds behind Manos. You'd need to really be running for Manos's pace at kind of another 20 seconds. I don't think he's going to lose 20 seconds to Manos in the next 8 laps or so. Looking for a comfortable podium. Zoe, I believe, must have pitted at some point, but she seems to have not. Her tyres are extreme, considering, we had, Matt Pigg said earlier, this is definitely a tyre limited race. You focus more on, if you manage your tyres well, you'll get longer stints. Zoe has done an extraordinary job managing her tyres. Mike is also out back. He's jumped back in the race, so for whatever reason, he is back in this race. He is about 10 laps down, 25 minutes, so he's racing for 5th at the moment. Even if we get heavy rain, I think it will be there. So Zoe has apparently just done her 2 stops. I thought she did her 2 stops just because it's not showing my fuel part. I saw her do her 2nd stop. However, she's looking like because she did fuel up pretty much to 92. She hasn't pitted again. She's just extremely good on her tyres right now. She has burned about a quarter of a tank, so she has been running for a while. We are seeing Corey mentioned that Mike's mechanics, he had a mechanical issue apparently, and had to, but they have fixed it and he has got out, so he will run across the final line. It will be in 5th unfortunately, but he will finish in the car on track, which is what we wanted to see. Very glad to see Mike back on track. And he'll be looking to have some interesting blue flag battles, knowing that it's not for position, without causing anybody any issues, I'm sure. Who is behind him? It is Dankert, so it'll be interesting to see if Dankert, we get that, even under blue flags, we get a little bit of a battle for it. All the drivers very spaced out now, since Adam ruined our battle cam with a little off of Zoe there, showing that even with the freshest of tyres, you can still have a little off. Mike did change to racing soft tyres, so he's running good, but has, I think, since just sitting in the pits, has burnt quite a bit of fuel. So interesting. Here's our race leader, and it does look very slick back there, but I don't know if Adam, he can just give us a yep or a nope. Adam, is it raining on your screen?
Negative, no.
No, so look, we're expecting light rain. There's 6 laps left to go. You're 12 seconds behind. You really needed that rain to come in for the extra stop. Right now, it's pretty much going to be, has someone underfueled? Has Manos underfueled? And will he need to stop in the next 6 laps? That's now what you're banking on, because you fueled up enough to last you the end of the race, you believe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kicking myself now because I've just done some different lines. I've gained 6-7 tenths off my fastest lap. So I think if I did that all race, I'd have been alright, but there you go.
Wow. That's the nature of it. It's a learning curve, even for the fastest of drivers. Every race you learn something new when you're driving. So with the lack of weather potentially getting into it, we are probably now looking at, I mean, it's not, I mean, there's still a chance, and you never know in racing what happens. There could be an unfortunate disconnect. Manos could have he's been running his own race for a while. He could always fall off the track. We saw you do it, although you were under a lot of pressure. We have seen other drivers do it, under pressure and not under pressure. Dan Kurt is running a very nice livery, as I've just noticed there. Manos has still got some blue flags to negotiate with, so we'll just see how he gets on here with this blue flag. We'll ride on board with him. You can see there, it's gotten dark, the track looks slicker, but nothing's really got in the way. He's only doing a fantastic job under blue flags there at pulling over, getting out of the way, waited for the best moment possible, and Manos will be very appreciative of that. See Mike back in the pits, that is just for some fresh tyres. So a very, very quick pit stop, 12 seconds or so maybe, not a long pit stop there. It's getting very dark, Braking points might be hard to see a bit now. We may actually get some light speckles of rain towards the end of the lap. Unfortunately, I don't think enough rain will come. It would need to be, for anyone who is an F1 fan and saw lap 1 or even the final laps of the Netherlands race, it would have to be mega rain at this point for any shenanigans to actually take place. The odd little bit of rain here or there, you can run slick tyres for quite a little bit. Remember, once it gets past that first third of the bar, in the bottom left between the race total timer and the tyres, that's when you'll start to, your braking zones will go, curbs will become extremely slippy. If you're still on slick tyres at that point, intermediates will gain you time. Track position will have an effect, and sometimes it might just be worth, depending on where you are on track with this many laps left, just trying to push it all the way to the end as slow as you can. Seeing here, the man chasing, he lost it a little bit. We didn't get the big overtake that we were hoping for. But we will scrum there for Adam. Zoe again at the right time does an amazing job at just moving over. And it looks like if we'd maybe had another 20 laps in this race, we may have got some weather that could have benefited you. Certainly a free stop, another pit stop if we had that many laps. Kind of took it away from yourself, and you took a bad stretch. You have gained some time, just as we've been talking, as the stadium lights turn on.
Slow down, come on. The wind has picked up quite a lot.
That's what we were expecting. The wind could potentially, and that's only going to hurt Manos more than you, with the wind picking up. We were expecting that you're running very different downforces. Dirty air wasn't good for him, so potentially wind is also not good for him. Your car's potentially a little bit more planted to the ground, so could that be a factor?
I want it to blow in a monsoon, because I actually set my car up for a little wet, moorish, than a full drive setup. So I'm running less rake than I would like, well, more rake than I'd like, so yeah, bit of a kicker, but there you go. We'll see what happens. I keep pushing, you never know. Bigger races have been lost on the last lap before. I still can't look at 2016 in the same way again, so you never know what happens.
I mean, looking at our screen, it's extremely foggy now. The racing lights are on, it's dark, it's, you know, we can see the brakes glowing up now on the cars. It just feels like we maybe had, with a few more laps, that weather came in a bit quicker, we potentially had some very, very interesting. This is what we mean. Adam obviously has the benefit of organising these races, seeing, you know, roughly what the weather could be doing. You can set up a race to kind of do what the weather should be doing, and just decides, I'm not going to do that. You think you're getting rain, you make all the plans for the potential of rain, and the rain never comes, and that seems to be what's happened here. The drivers are getting dim conditions, it's going to get harder to see. We'll give Mike some airtime purely for the fact that we hear gas in the background, purely for the fact that he had hardly any time on track. You can see there he's running lap 28. And unfortunately it's a shame that Mike had the technical issue or whatever issue he had, because looking at the times, him and Danko would have had their own little battle. He was in a battle, he had a little spin out turn 1, which lost him the position, and he was fighting back, but made that first pit stop, went on to mediums, and for whatever reason something had gone wrong and needed to pit again, decided he just couldn't race for the moment, which is not an issue. It's great to see him come back into the race. We are very glad of that. I think what we'll do is we'll see if at the end of this race, if we can get some more of the drivers, if they're available, to jump in this lobby chat, and I will try to, I'll save the replay and I'll try and boot up the replay, and we will have a little look at the first couple of laps so we can see just how Adam took that pole position off of him in the first lap, which unfortunately, due to a technical error, we missed, which typical. An impromptu commentary session from me. Found out I was going to be commentating about 5 minutes before the lobby opened. So for those who have joined, I do thank you for your comments. It's great when people chime in even if they can't race. For whatever reason people can't race. If you are, as you can tell, there is space in this race series. If you would like to race in this, Facebook THG and send them a message with your interest. The man who has been racing in first for a lot of the time and second for the rest of it, who has been giving us his wise wisdom words, Adam, is the man to contact. You can do that through the Facebook page. And come and join us. There is multiple races. This is just set up as a more internal race, but we're always happy for new drivers to join along with the team. And there are plenty of race series, and the guys in the team all know that there is the potential in a few months' time. It is in the works of, I guess for Gran Turismo we have to call it a super endurance league. In real racing terms it's just an endurance league, but in terms of this, as Manos crosses the line for the penultimate time, and we should see everyone pass the line. I don't think many people are that far off from not finishing. But there's going to be quite a bit there. We are trying to build up as well the ability to stream more bit more organised, so it'll be a little less technical difficulties. You know, I'd like to have my usual statistics on all the drivers, on the track, on the cars, the prep work that makes it a little bit more engaging. If you don't race and you just like streaming and you're interested in taking a stream or joining us for a stream, get in contact with us as well. We'd be happy to accommodate you, especially if you believe that you can, you know, make this even better. We're not saying that the guys who currently do it are the best, we're just willing to give it a go. So as Manos comes round, he probably can't beat that fastest lap with the tyres where they are, but he's timed his fuel to perfection in terms relative to the grip that he has. So we will watch him round. I believe everybody is going to get another lap. I believe so. We will find out as Manos gives us the flashes and wins this race. It wasn't comfortable for him for a period of time. Adam seems to be crawling across the line as it. How much fuel do you have there, Adam? Not a lot.
I'm fine on fuel. I've got 2%.
Fine on fuel.
July, semi, and semi through.
Oh, okay.
I did say at the start, I was broadcast, I was going to pull over, let them all through. I was going to race Manos to the end, just to see if I can get it.
Zoe gives us a flash, and she's ran a very, very good race. She said to us she was going to come last in this race. Didn't end up coming last because you've got to be on track. You've just got to run your race. Out of all the drivers there, her tyre management was impeccable. Even now, after running, I mean, she's been able to run slightly longer stints, slightly shorter stints at the end here. She has ran incredibly well. I'm hoping that she may jump in and have a little chat with us. Next across the line will be Mike, who has only ran 32 laps. Obviously, he had technical difficulties, engine difficulties, mechanical difficulties, personal difficulties, whatever. Always taken a little off. Right at the end, he's gone for a spin. We might get some on-track action with Danker, who's running through some yellow flags. It's going to be tight to the line. If he gets an overtake, he'll be under blue flags. I'm sure Mike won't make it hard. It's not going to happen. Mike's going to pass the line. On the line, he makes it hard. We got a little bit of action there at the end, Adam. Not bad. So there's your podium. Just going to put in the group chat about joining chat. So Manos gets pole position, fastest. Did he get the? I believe he got the fastest lap. It's not showing it there, but he definitely did. And the race win. So a clean sweep for Manos. Adam did give him a good battle for a good half of the race. What we are going to do now is I'm going to save this replay. We are going to save that, and I will boot that up so we can watch the start of the race. Whilst I do that, I'm going to send some invites for some drivers. Let's have a look here. Okay, I'll message Zoe, because Zoe has decided to change her PSN. I don't have it.
It should be Zoe Zofia.
Okay, just message that. So I'm going to leave this lobby. I have saved it. Replay save, and I'll boot up the replay just so we can take a look at that first lap. just because we missed it. And in the meantime, hopefully Zoe will come on. Equally, I know that, I don't know if he's...
I just messaged Zoe as well.
Yep. We'll just see if anyone is further available for the chats.
There's a
I
Manos.
have invited Mike and Manos, but they are two people who don't normally like the old voice communications or don't have the ability to. So we'll just see what's going on here. Do you want to, I don't know, if you invite to the party as well. Then that might help. What we'll do here is we will get into the replay so that we can see what the heck happened at turn 1. So at the greens we will follow with Adam, and I'll go back and forward there. Went up the inside. Now Adam said that this was a little bit naughty. I think it was a little bit fair. There's some higgledy-piggledy between third place as well, between the top 3. As we have Zoe, we will just... We're just having some... she's just in the back. Oh, Zoe, hello. We can hear ourselves as well.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
So we can hear myself double. I'm just wondering if you turn... Would it be your TV as well?
Yeah, we've paused it.
Ah, so I can hear myself for some reason.
Oh, right. Okay.
We'll go with it. We'll stick with it. It's fine. How was that for you?
Absolutely fantastic. I knew that I wasn't going to win it, but these guys are just so good. And I just try to keep out of the way and gain experience, and it's really lovely. I thoroughly enjoyed it. A good race amongst friends.
I mean, we noticed there that you had really good tyre wear. Is that something, did you work on the setup? Were you just taking it a bit easy? Like, compared to a lot of other drivers, your tyre wear, considering that's what dictated how it went,
yes,
it was very, very good from what we were seeing.
Well, I had the brakes full at the back, so that took the load off the front, and also I think just driving a bit slower helps as well. When you're going very fast around the corners, you do tend to wear them, but at a more modest pace like I do, then yeah, that is one of the benefits. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, absolutely brilliant, and massive congratulations to the lads for doing a good job.
Yeah, and like we said, you did say to me at the start, you said to all the drivers in the start, look, I'm going to come last, you guys are way faster than me, but I'm here for the experience, you're here for that. You never know what happens in a race. You didn't come last.
No, well, I think Mike must have had a problem outside the racing.
He did have a problem outside of racing, technical issue, anything like that. We're not entirely sure. But this is the joy of it if you're coming into races like this and you know, look, I may be the slowest driver on track, it's still worth racing all the time, getting the experience,
of course it is,
staying on track, because you just never know what happens. 4th place in the championship, where, look, this has been a thinner round this week because not as many drivers have been in. You've had a really good points haul here. That's gonna be.
You've got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, you've got to be in it to win it.
Yeah. No, but and thank you for organising it, because it's such a good series. It's such good drivers, and for a newbie like me, it's a fantastic experience. And and as they lap me, then I have to see what they're doing as well. But
yeah,
no,
well,
it's great fun.
We did get you some. I mean, there was some big battle for most of it between Adam and Manos, but once it calmed down, we did give everybody a little bit of some airtime.
Bless you.
We're currently watching you now, but just while you're here, what have you got going on in your racing calendar? Anything you want to plug that might be on stream?
Well, not really. Just the THG stuff, which obviously this series is absolutely fantastic. I'm racing with a couple of other groups as well, and like CC Sim, it's thanks to the foundation that I've got in THG that I can actually do these things, because the coaching and the mentoring is absolutely brilliant. I really take my hat off to this group.
Yeah, and you say about the academy, so
yes,
you might not know this, but I was one of the 2 inaugural THG Academy members.
Oh, wow.
So I remember going through that whole process.
Yes.
I think they've definitely refined it now to where we're at. You are the latest to pass out of it, I believe, so you are fully fledged.
Yes, there's Matthew Pig and myself, and we both joined at the same time, and we both graduated together, and it's a constant learning. There's always something to learn on these tracks. Even in practice, you're constantly learning, and you've got to go into it with that attitude. The person who thinks that they're good, well, they're the ones that are going to muck up. But you've got to work at this, and I love the ethos in THG, because it is you work hard and reap the results because of it. And I would say a thank you to Corey for inviting me and being my mentor during the academy.
Corey now coaching in the academy as much as he can. Again, Corey was part of the second wave. He joined us when he was our reserve driver and got his first proper drive as a reserve driver when I couldn't race a race, and from there has got faster and faster and faster, and is now really actively involved in the organisation of a lot of it.
The whole thing feels like a family, and it's sort of moved together as a real good bunch of friends, and with that really what shall I say, relaxed, encouraging, empathetic atmosphere, then you enjoy the hobby, and if you enjoy it, then you do better.
So I'm just hearing, I was just confirming, obviously Adam did run in this race, but Adam is not in contention. As a result, even though you were technically lapped, you did actually get third in this race.
Oh, well.
So that is actually a podium for you. Adam has just messaged me. So that actually was, like you said, you've got to be in it to win it. You thought you were going to come last. You've walked away with a podium.
Oh, wow. Oh, so there you go.
Congratulate you on that. Like you say, you've got to be in it to win it.
Absolutely, and thank you very much indeed for this opportunity, because it's a real privilege and I appreciate it.
I believe karting for you next?
Sorry?
Are you karting next?
Oh, very much so. Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to the karting. Again, that's just grassroots and see to your bum driving, and again, it's lovely. Good fun.
I joined in the karting last time and you guys absolutely battered me. Because you'd actually practice for it, and this is the thing, like, you'll come up against a different series. The karting series is a very different series, and you just put the time in, and because of that, you're one of the fastest drivers in the karting series from what I've seen. You really put the work in.
Well, Yeah, well, you've got to practice and you've got to work at it. It's like anything. Yeah, you can't play golf or play tennis or do anything unless you practice. And if you love your hobby, then you do. Yeah, I'm not in it to win it here, but
Yeah.
I'm certainly in it to not muck up anybody's race. So I'm quite happy to lose a few yards and let somebody pass.
Yeah, we were noticing obviously under blue flags. Is that something that you've really had to learn? Obviously, this is competitive racing. Blue flags are always an issue in competitive racing. Nobody likes being overtaken.
To be perfectly honest, I only started 20 months ago. So Matthew Pigman got me into this, into the racing. And I've always been slower than my peers, certainly within any group. And you get used to it, and it's just a matter of respect. The last thing I want to do is to muck up somebody else's race. And you never know. One of these days I might be ahead of these lads. One can hope. And hopefully they'll keep out of my way.
I remember saying that a couple of years ago when I came up against Manos, and it's not quite happened.
He's a bit special.
He's a bit special, yeah. Well, look, so thanks for... Yeah, go on.
No. Thank you very much indeed for doing what you're doing and streaming it. And I will just say a big shout out for THG and the Academy, because it really is a solid platform for good, courteous driving, and I thoroughly enjoy it, and it's a privilege to be part of it. And thank you.
Brilliant, and thank you for joining us post race.
It's a privilege.
Give us that, and yeah, so I'm just gonna sort that out just while we finish up.
Even doing low 48s, I ended up finding new lines, and I took out 6 tenths. And that's a big chunk of time, and that's just through literally the race where I've learnt it and learnt the car a bit more. So yeah, just driving, you can gain big chunks. I've done it tonight myself. I've been playing this game since the start. So there's always more to learn.
There's always more to learn, and that's what makes a hobby.
Adam, where can someone find out about THG? I know I've mentioned the Facebook. What's the best way? If I'm someone who's watched this, I want in on this THG thing. I want in on some of this clean competitive racing. How do I come about it?
I mean, the THG, the Hamburgers Racing Team Facebook page is the best. Next week, so the guys and girls will have 2 or 3 weeks to make a tune practice, get involved, and they can join in from the third round. That's no issue, because we've had drivers drop in and out. Like Cesar won the first race, but wasn't here today. They still have a real genuine chance of scoring really high. So yeah, join in and come race.
Yeah, and I believe there's a Discord as well. I think Corey is going to drop that link in this chat. So if you're watching this, there should be a link to our Discord, which is where we're starting to organise more of this. Long gone are the days of Facebook chats. They were a bloody nightmare, weren't they? I'm
still stuck on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's because I'm 30 now, so...
yeah, we'll post this. What are the details of the next race? What's the date? What's the track? We don't know yet. Okay, so really watch the space, watch the Facebook, watch the Discords, and if you want it streamed, try and give me a little bit more heads up. Hopefully we get enough people that I can stream instead of having to race. Bit of a shame because I really want this car, so when you do a race in it, I'm like, but it's been great streaming this week, so we are just casually got the replay in the background. So I'll share this for any of the drivers, anyone involved who's a friend of mine. You can then see the stream. If you want to watch the replay again, you're not a friend of us, I'll share it publicly. It'll probably be called the same as this stream chat. So thank you for joining us. For those who join us, thank you for the drivers for giving us a great race. Congratulations to Manos for winning and the rest of the drivers for completing it. Well done, Mike, for getting back on track to finish the race off. And yeah, watch the space for the next race and for all of the updates regarding the following round 2. Yeah, so it's been great having you guys here. I need to get better at how I end these. I'll do more prep next time and try and get a buddy to come and join. So have a good rest of your week. It's the weekend, and thanks for joining.